Live with the Year 4 offseason here in the Tennessee Titans franchise. Welcome back, everybody. Today, it's all about reinforcing the offensive line and trying to put this team in position to actually capitalize in Year 5. We've only had one winning season in the entire franchise. It's been truly a franchise unlike any other. And we have to strengthen this offensive line to give us a fighting chance in Year 5. And that's going to be the number one goal. We have no first round pick, but plenty of cap space. We do have some day 2 picks. And then if things need to be, we have to do some trading to get some players, we'll do what we got to do for this offensive line situation. I have some changes in mind for the offense going into season 5. But to do that and accomplish anything, we need to strengthen this group up front. Elton Jenkins is solid at right tackle, but nobody else should feel good about their spot going into this next season. So, welcome to the offseason, everybody. I do this live, and I have for a very long time. If you can't catch the entire thing, I will be doing an edited version here in a couple days, where I'll recap everything in around 30 to 40 minutes. So, welcome on in, everybody. We're going to kick things off with a little Trayvon Randolph upgrade. He is the phenom wide receiver, a dominant rookie season, 1,500 yards and 7 touchdowns. And a Pro Bowler along with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. It was so much fun to play with him. He already feels like one of the most dominant receivers I've ever had a chance to play with on the channel. I am going to be upgrading his slot archetype once again, just because I want to see if I can get that short and medium route running up. And we do get short and deep. So now we're looking at 82 short route running, 84 with a morale boost, 81 deep with the boost there. The thing is, like, it's not even important for him to separate downfield with his route running, because he has the speed, he has the release, he has the leaping ability. He catches it all. And I can't wait to hopefully put a better offense around him in year 2. And truly, I really hope we can take this team to the next level this year. I appreciate that, Robert. Kane, super excited for Knox. Man is always near the ball. This has the shape of being as exciting as Broncos or better. Keep up the hard work. Thank you. Henry for Landon Dickerson. I haven't really targeted any interior trades, but those kinds of moves are going to be what I'm looking for, I believe. Pierre, I appreciate the super chat. $1 for roughly every time Kane said, man, this offensive line cannot pass protect. Then the very next clip doesn't leave the running backs to help in protection. Love you, Kane. Protect Nava at all costs, except my bribe. That will go into the offensive line reconstruction budget. I appreciate that, Pierre. You know, I'm always torn between leaving a running back in pass pro and then like putting them in the flats is just like a dump off option. Sometimes I prefer to have the dump off option, but I do think that, like, I have to look at this pass block rating and see, like, all right, can we maybe find somebody that's a good fit? Because Manny is actually not a good pass blocker. And then, I can't imagine Rashad Polite's good at it. Hey, Brian Nava is in the chat. Please, we need to beef up the O-line, I beg. Appreciate that, Brian. We will try to protect you a bit better. Pass blocking on Polite's actually better than Manny Warner. So, you know, I really don't know what the Derrick Henry situation is going to be this year, because I am more open than ever to moving on. And I think that if we do move on, I'll be trying to replace him with somebody that gives us a little pass protection and maybe just a well-rounded skill set. You kind of have a receiving back in Polite. You have a thumper in Warner who doesn't catch the ball well, doesn't block super well. You know, if we move on from Henry, I want a little bit of everything out there, I think, including better pass protection. I should get an idea for what is meant to be really good there. Are we drafting a running back this offseason? I have 2 on the board, Tay. Never count it out, especially with me. But As of right now, I don't have a ton of interest, Henry or not. So what's considered to be good pass protection here for running back? Want to make sure y'all can see it. So, high 60s, mid to high 60s is where you get into like the Ezekiel Elliott range and everything. So, we'll probably keep that in mind when we are looking at free agent running backs or making any sort of a trade. Want to take a look at some of our ratings as well for the offensive line. So, here's the situation that we've had this year. Got another super chat coming in here. Resist the Empire. Appreciate that. Hey, Kane, been watching since the Minnesota Dynasty. And this is the first stream I've caught live from the start. Also my first super chat. Keep up the great work and appreciate you. Glad you can make it today. I always love seeing the comments of people who are like, I can finally catch a live stream. And after all these years, it's still getting comments like that. So glad we can continue the fun that we've been having here with these series. Want to thank you for everything you do. Been watching since the Rams franchise. Thank you, Chris. Anything in the 60s is considered great for a running back. That seems to be the range here, Sam. Hey, Kane, does it show you how long I've been following? I don't think I can just check on everybody. It's not like Twitch where I think you can see how long people have followed. It tracks the membership stuff. Franz, member for 27 months. Gotta throw in my 2 cents. I would love to see Henry stay while trading out Simmons and Bynes to recoup some draft capital. That's interesting. You get free member stuff. I appreciate all the memberships and super chats rolling in here. I haven't really considered trading Devian Bynes, but at this point, you know, I want to do whatever it takes to build up the offensive line. Elton Jenkins has 87 pass block, by far the best on the team. Tyler Vasquez at 82 is not even a starter. George Fant, he was signed mid-season. Chris Spellman is a backup. Church, Wembley, Davis. Yeah, I mean, Nate Davis is a solid player, but I think he's a better run blocker than he is pass protector. So he did lead us in sacks allowed this year. Something else to keep in mind. That's why I said nobody else's job is necessarily safe. You need Bynes, move him into the slot. I agree, Bynes would be a good slot receiver. I've just been hesitant because of his inability to stay healthy. And I don't want to have him taking a ton of hits on 7-yard catches. That's why I've been trying to find a either a cheaper receiver or a lower drafted receiver that can do the dirty work and take the punishment. Because Bynes does have, I think, a lot more to offer than just being a slot. Hey, Kane, glad I can make the stream. Coming up on 2 years since I became a channel member. Here's to the best community on YouTube. Thank you, Nyrus. Can't believe I've been watching for 10 years straight. Love you, Kane. Keep up the great content. 10 years in a row. Never turned it off. Always on. Love it. Sexton at slot and Brooks at tight end. That'd be an interesting call as well. I just don't know that Sal has the route running. 73 short, 76 medium. So that would make it a little bit of a challenge there. I do got to find more creative ways to use Sal this year. And just the offense in general. There are so many great pieces to this offense. And I want to put together the offense that you guys deserve to watch. So we're going to get on to the offseason here right now. We have the Super Bowl between the Bills and the Commanders. And it looks like it's a dominant win for Josh Allen and the Bills. Von Miller, a Super Bowl MVP again? Right? He was the MVP in 15, no? He was. So, you know, 10 years between Super Bowl MVPs is pretty impressive. 31-3. The Bills are the team to beat. We got 131 million here in available salary cap. Vibes are strong in the chat today. Don't trade Bynes. Trade Sexton and Henry for a top 5 O lineman and a third. Been watching you since the Raiders. Thank you for the super chat and the suggestion. We'll see if I got to make any trades. You know, I'm hoping that free agency gives us opportunity. I felt like when I went through the tackles, there were a lot of good options there. And I think one thing you could also consider is taking 2 tackles and then moving somebody inside, like Elton Jenkins even. He's been a really good guard with Green Bay. And I have him playing tackle more so. Good evening, Kane. 8 p.m. here in the UK. I need to be awake at 1:30 local for work. Enjoy the stream. I'll definitely watch fully later. Appreciate that, SRL. Wish it was a little bit earlier for y'all over there. Speaking of UK, how about the race earlier from Max Verstappen? Another dominant day for the Red Bull squad. I've been watching a little F1 lately. I can do a little more than football and baseball. Yeah, that 1:30 a.m. wake up time too. I kind of glossed over that. That's pretty rough. That's a weird one. I've actually not even played F1 Manager or any F1 games. I just started watching because like it's on at a really good time, like 8 a.m. Sunday morning. That's perfect for me. And you know, I love like racing games and stuff, but I haven't really watched a lot of actual racing. And I thought like, let's give it a chance and maybe it'll help me understand some things better when I play like Gran Turismo and stuff. And I still don't know what's going on, but it is, it's fun to watch. It's like an hour and a half and it's at times exciting, but the Red Bull car is a pretty fast machine, so it's not always that competitive. Wouldn't hate to see injury-prone players be considered for trades or even cut, like Wembley, possibly Sexton and Bynes. Health is wealth. Yeah, we have to consider that, you know, these guys staying on the field has been a problem. And we're going to have to, I think hard about that center spot with Wembley because he is missing far too much of the year. So the Bills are the champions now, and let's take a look at league retirements. I don't think we had anybody retire. The Eagles have a new head coach. Or are we in the wrong week for retirements? All the practice squad additions are there. Maybe it's a tad early. Yeah, this is staff week, so I don't imagine anyone's signing away our coordinators. Whoops, on the wrong section. Yeah, we got the same guys here. So let me check this talent tree again. Wembley can go yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you are ready to move on from Wembley as that signing or that draft pick hasn't really worked the way we'd like. I do like the boost we get here from Eric Aguilar. I think we'll probably end up staying with him as our OC. And I have some points to spend at the same time, and I haven't really done much in the player personnel tab just because I didn't think I needed like the boost or anything. But we could look to spend some of this. I think mainly I want to use it on the offense, like weight room, getting the boost here, and I have to, you know, buy all this stuff I think first to do it. That one's the most important to me. Helps out our run blocking in a big way. And then catching for receivers and tight ends by 5. That boost we'll buy. For the defense, strength. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to use it on player personnel. I'm going to go all in on the OC-DC situation. I don't know if I have enough left over here. Yeah. I forget if I've maxed out the training. That's right. Hayden handles that. I think it's this one down here. So I'll probably get that unlocked after a couple preseason games. Because right now we have 4 players getting focus training. All right, so staff week is going to happen. The Jags are going to have a new coach. I'd like to see what scheme they're planning on running. But let's move on to the re-sign period. And retirements. Any surprises for Tennessee? John Feliciano and Devontae Parker decide to retire. 2 veterans who might not have come back. Thoughts on JMS? I'm a Giants fan. I think y'all got a really solid center. He was projected by many to be the first center taken. I believe he ended up being the second guy, but I think he'll be pretty happy with him. I thought he was a pretty solid member of that offensive line, and the Gophers' run blocking unit was pretty solid, so he'll help in that regard. But I don't have a detailed scouting report for you. I haven't watched as much Gopher football as you might think. I watch it every now and then, but usually by the time the mid-season point rolls around, I'm watching other games on Saturdays. Started watching the Minnesota Dynasty when I was 12. I'm 20 now, and in a fraternity. You inspired me to do franchises of my own and find a passion. Appreciate that, Spencer. 8 years. Draft quarterback Uncle Rico throws over them mountains. Yeah, you could probably get Trayvon Randolph a couple deep balls. That would work. Sexton could make a nice trade piece for new O-line. Ideally, we wouldn't trade him. I like the core playmakers. Hey, Rogers retired in here. Appreciate the super chats, everybody. I think Henry is the first guy to probably go as we are shifting this offense, and I'm expecting to see some regression. Von Miller retires after winning a Super Bowl MVP all over again. Garrett Bowles retires after 9 years, so he's somebody that won't be available in free agency, when originally I believe he was. Robert Woods has retired. And Jacoby Brissett has retired. All right, let's get a look here at the first. Why don't we check out the staff that's on the Jags? I just want to see what playbook they'll be looking to run this year. I'm just a little curious is all. They have signed Glenn Powers, and they'll be running the Chicago offense and a 3-4 defense. And he doesn't have any skills unlocked here. So there's the new coordinator of Jacksonville. I want to make sure our scheme is set up to what I want to focus on as well. I think it probably will be, but doesn't hurt to take a look. So, West Coast zone run. I don't know if I want to look at agile linemen as much. I'm thinking pass protector at left tackle would be a good archetype there. Multiple zone run. Multiple power run. Spread offense gives you agile and then just pass protector. The run and shoot gives you just all pass protectors and changes up a bunch of stuff. The air raid gives you all pass protector. I guess this isn't super important for now. We can always find the scheme that matches the talent later on. I know it sounds a little backwards, because it is. I will be editing the playbook. I will take what I have, and then I'm going to be taking out some formations and putting in some new stuff. So I want to maintain the pistol stuff that we do with Tim Cannon. And I like a lot of what we have, but there are certain things I need to help counter some of these dominant front fours, and I just need a few more options. West Coast spread could be what we end up going with here. Maybe look into using the 49er offense playbook. I enjoy using it. Good multi-tight end stuff. Plus the Debo package makes up for some fun looks. I was looking at theirs when I was first really messing around with this playbook. Some of the stuff, you know, doesn't translate as nicely in Madden as it does in real life. But if you're running 2 tight end stuff and you want to emphasize the running game, I do love their playbook for that. I think I kind of gave it my try at creating kind of a San Francisco-esque deal with Malik Willis. And now we're kind of moving on to the next thing, which is going to be more of a spread offense and probably opening this offense up in a big way. So I'm going to leave this on West Coast spread for now. And then I'll look at the playbook and stuff later on. But we need to see regression. What has happened there? The oldest players on the team, George Fant, Derrick Henry. Henry is still at star development. He did lose 1 acceleration. And here is the regression overall. So think about his fumbles last year and now losing 3 more carrying. Losing injury, break tackle, stiff arm, trucking. Still obviously a 90+ overall player. He is not bad, but he's still regressing. And he's not the player that he once was. The big play threat, especially. We've seen the broken tackles drop now these last 2 years. Fumbles came up this season. Check regression for both rookie quarterbacks. Oh, that's a good call because the game is super weird about that. I appreciate that, Albert. Throw power. Yeah, I'm putting that back up. And I'll have to check on the other rookies because that's just a weird thing. Why? Thank you for bringing that up because I always forget about this obscure, unnecessary problem. I didn't even check what was wrong with Cannon. If anything happened at all. Yeah. What the heck? Throw power 2, injury, and medium accuracy. Very odd. I can understand for like simulating busts and wanting to incorporate that, but like throw power isn't the way to do it. And dropping injury randomly, just I don't know what they're doing, but I'll probably have a few more guys to adjust. There are a lot of really good young quarterbacks in the league. I'm sure Kerry Farrell needs to be fixed now. He was Rookie of the Year. Did they do anything for him? Anything negative? No. So at least that's one guy I won't have to worry about. Yeah, he earned a lot of legacy and XP for this, though. That's awesome. I forget what he would have been drafted at, but we got to get Nava there. I'm going to cut the music. I'm finding it a little bit distracting right now. Or if you want the music on, I can take off my headphones and just enjoy the silence of the rebuild process. All right, Mock Draft 3 is out, and we don't have a first-round pick, but I do have targets that are fringe first-round options. So it's important to see like who's not really a realistic option, like Tom Young. He's not going to be in play. Dennis Allen is not going to be in play. And ideally, we can fix some of these needs in free agency, and it's not as dire to address this. Josh Hall and Kevin Hand. I have them as second-round talents to me. Like, I went through everybody on my board yesterday, and then, you know, I give them a grade for where I like them. And for Hand, I just look at the pass block finesse being a bit low, the run block finesse, and I thought of him, and also he's not like an elite athlete. So I thought of him as more of a day 2 guy, maybe early second, late first, but another guy that's going to be firmly out of reach if we don't try to move up. But I honestly think there's enough depth here with some spots to where we can get a pretty good lineman. And there are a few guys that aren't projected to go here in the first round. Chance Bowman, I also have a second round grade on him. And there are guys like Bowman who are weird, where like he's an awful run blocker, but A pass block, A finesse, B pass block power, A awareness. He's at least an elite level pass blocking prospect in that regard. Kane, you can retire Hayden John Charles and replace him immediately with a new created coach. Hit retire, hit his create new character, select the Titans, and create the new coach. This way you can start over with a new scheme and coach. Yeah, that'd be an option, John. I'm just going to keep it probably the way it is. Just because I didn't plan on making any changes. I don't want to do it here. And I like keeping the same coach throughout these franchises. I understand, like Hayden John Charles would have been fired long, long ago. I think before we ever would have won the first game. But maybe that's something I'll think about for future series. So we do have players to re-sign here. Kane, you can see when a player was drafted in the stats and contracts menu under awards tab, I believe. Yep, it will tell you there what round and everything guys were taken. So I don't plan on bringing back a lot of these guys, and in the case of many, like they don't have interest anyway, so I'm not even going to really bother in this round because they're just going to likely say no. So all these guys can go ahead and test, and we'll come back later on for maybe guys like Kyron Johnson or Roger McCreary, although I'm looking to replace McCreary's role. Martin Irving, he could come back. Okonkwo could come back as well. I've liked having him on the team, but it's just a matter of interest, and it's just hard to get anybody on board here. So, I mean, I can offer a contract to Okonkwo. He's just not likely to take it. So, very fast re-sign period. Let's move on to the next one. This is where I think bulk of our action is going to be today. We lack a first-round pick, and just as a refresher, here's where we do select in this year's draft, because I've done so much trading. We pick at 42, 74, 89, and those are our only top 100 picks. Then we have 3 6s and 2 7s that are going to just be late flyers on, maybe a kicker, a role player at receiver, maybe a one-dimensional pass rusher. So I don't see this being a draft where we get a whole lot better through the draft. It's going to be about free agency and what we can accomplish right here, right now. I know we're not a great fit for a lot of guys, and that's what's going to concern me. As we see Alvin Kamara, Jamal Adams, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley becomes available, Sauce Gardner, and Orlando Brown. Thank you for having some interest in us. No income tax, warm weather, it's warm enough. I've already said if he were available, Orlando would be my top option here in free agency. And we are going to be making him a massive offer. I'm going to go up to 3 years. And we're probably going to take this into the $20 million range and see where this puts us. All right, it's going to be competitive up here. Now, if I remember correctly, like the rankings here are kind of random. So the Bucks, Jags, and us all have 5 bars. But if I go in and out of menus, I think it randomizes the order in which a lot of these teams are shown. Something like that. It's not changing here. I don't think that actually means I have the 3rd best offer. But I have to make something strong. I have so much cap space. So if I offer, $65 million over 3 years, does that move? Yeah, we're still below the Jags and Bucks on that board. So that, I think, makes a very strong offer. Now, how many options are there? Charles Leno, Joseph Noteboom. So left tackle doesn't have options. Nothing reasonable here for starters. At right tackle, you got Taylor Moton, Mekhi Becton, Isaiah Wynn. So we do have Orlando Brown plus a few others. I think it would be smart for us to go after two guys in case we lose. Although Moton doesn't have any offers, and he's kind of my number 2 option, I feel. Better pass protector than the other options, higher awareness. Nobody else interested right now, but he's also not a fan of our scheme. Yeah, Becton is superstar, but I'm not looking for development. I'm looking for already having the skill, and his pass blocking is still lacking. I don't think for a scheme like we're going to run, he's the best fit. If we were going to be more run heavy and like still building around Derrick Henry, then he's just like a better version of Trevor Penning. But we already know that skill set stinks for us. And his injury is absurdly low. Bring Ridley back, says Xander C. A veteran receiver could be in play, especially if they have the mentor tag. So we got Taylor Moton available, and I think I might make him an offer as well. And if we end up with 3 tackles, Jenkins can play guard, and I think hold up very well there. We've got to go after both Moton and Orlando Brown, I think, right off the bat. No one else is offering, but I want to make this enticing enough because he has very low interest in us. So I've got to make this a pretty sweet deal for him. So that gets us 4. I might even have to go up to 5. And then if you want to see what guards are available, there's Cesar Ruiz. David Andrews at center. We have options, and I think we need to be in. So neither one has major interest in us. We got David Andrews and Matt Hennessy. I'm going to say right off the bat that Andrews is a significantly better fit, and he has 15 teams interested. Well, we're about to make that 16 teams interested. He's also a mentor, so that's a bonus. And I'm about to offer him a massive deal. I'm going to $16 million on this. We got to go and top the Raiders and Packers. We got to get in that mix. I'll make a 2-year deal. We got the rookie quarterback contract situation, so of course we have money to spend more than many teams. And that gets us a 5-bar offer. Andrews is not going to happen? Well, I'm going to take a chance. Ruiz here, lower pass block at 71. He does really good against power. I'm probably not going to target him here in the first stage. But that gets us a really good start, I think. That's 3 really big offers. Now, what else can we look at here? I think wide receiver is something just because, we're so young there. Jordan Mailata trade. We're focused on free agency. If we have to make trades, then that'll be afterwards. But we don't know yet if we necessarily need to. Slot corner is still going to be in need. I'm just making sure I didn't miss super chats here as I was focused. I appreciate all the super chats coming in, all the feedback here. One thing I love about doing the off seasons is I just consider it to be a fun challenge to also navigate through the off season with 1,000 opinions in the comment section. I actually really like the challenge of not getting sidetracked or pressured into certain moves, because it will happen. And a lot of times, you guys have good suggestions, like taking Tim Cannon last year. But I think that it's fun to try and, stay level-headed. with all these opinions. All right. What running backs are available? There's Kamara, Damian Pierce, Nyheim Hines. I don't love the options that are out there, but I will take a look at somebody just based on their ability to pass protect and maybe offer something more. Hey, Kane, been enjoying this in the A series so much. Always thankful for the content. I appreciate that, Michael. A series, man, that's been a lot of fun. I think that's the guy to target. And it's not going to be here in stage 1 because I can only offer 5 contracts right off the bat. But I have interest in Jamal Williams just for pass protection. But also maybe that's something we can solve in preseason. Possibly. Let's see what we got at tight end. I mean, we just had a Okonkwo walk. So another vertical threat option would be nice. And you got plenty of options here. Jelani Woods. What does he bring to the table in Madden? Not a lot of route running. Yeah, I think I want some route running. If I sort by short, what do I get? The best guys. So, Njoku, Goddard, Herb Smith, Trey McBride. McBride could be kind of interesting. We'll think about it with our stages 2 and 3 probably. Kane, putting Sexton in the slot would be an elite play. No defense could stop him. Brooks, Bynes, and Randolph at the same time. He's probably going to play at least somewhat in the slot, but on a full-time basis, I need the trust that you can win a route on 3rd and 7. I know he can make big plays, but I need like the really key conversion skill set is what I'm hoping the slot can bring us. Let's check out the wide receivers then. And I'm really interested if anybody carries the mentor tag. So you've got options like Calvin Ridley and Cortland Sutton, Juju Smith-Schuster. None of these guys have tags. Bridge players, Sky Moore. If we're looking for... Wow, Traylon Burks became a free agent. Sterling Shepard's the best mentor, and he would be a fit for that role. I think a better version of Kendrick Bourne. If I feel the need to go after a veteran receiver. Well, we had Parker on the team last year, so it's nice to have that mentor for the development boost. There's also Robbie Anderson who carries that. Allen Robinson. Those seem to be your best mentors there. Let's go to the defensive side now. And I did see that Sauce Gardner was available. 5 teams have offered. He doesn't have a lot of interest in us. I can't imagine that would work out well. Jamel Dean has some interest. Taron Johnson has some interest. And Dean has the man coverage and the athleticism I think I'm looking for. So, I think he might be the guy. There's also Dante Jackson, who's just not quite as good in man, but has like better athleticism than 90+% of corners. 15 teams interested though, so you've got to play those odds too when you're trying to make these offers. Andrew Booth could be an option. He's younger. Not as good in zone. Let's see. Dean, I think, is just a better option. If Booth doesn't have offers, I think I'll go for Jamel Dean. Giving out some huge offers because we can this year. You want to put Derrick Henry on the trade block to see what offers he gets. Also, 29 months. Appreciate that. Yeah, I could put Henry on the trade block, but what ends up happening is teams value these running backs so much that they'll end up offering me ridiculous trades that I'm not going to take because I think they'd be cheap. And I just don't want to give the chat ammunition to be like, you know, when we saw Jeffrey Simmons, you could trade him for like Justin Jefferson last year. Like, I know that there's value, but the trade value is so skewed. They're going to offer me stuff I know I'm not taking. Sauce Gardner. Probably better in real life than he is already in the franchise. Especially 85 overall, 20th ranked corner. Dax Hill's available. I like him a lot. He would be like the ideal free safety or the ultimate role player. I mean, you've always got to consider what Jabril Peppers could do, right? At safety, at slot, at running back, at kick returner, at linebacker, at monster back. I tried him at running back once. It was not the most successful move I've ever tried. But Dax Hill here sitting right there with this cap space. I think I might be in. You should look at John Ross if he's still there, available at stage 3 to be your deep threat guy. That's something we're going to look at. That's a good call. I am going to look at young guys to fill it, but also if there is like a John Ross available, then I don't mind like Ross competing with a rookie for that like wind sprinting decoy role. And also Dax is an X factor. To me, this would be like getting a second chance at Kevin Byard. He's like the 85 overall version of Kevin Byard's skill set. So I will be making an offer to Dax Hill. So if this ends up working out well in this stage, you know, maybe trades aren't going to be a big part of this offseason. We'll see. But that gives us 5 targets. Orlando Brown, Jamel Dean, Daxton Hill, Taylor Moton, and David Andrews. I don't really think I had the best chance of going 5 for 5 here. But I know I've put out 5 really good offers. We really need free agency to be kind to us this year. Let's evaluate here in stage 1 of free agency. They've all made decisions. The moment of truth, everybody. 3 out of 5 have signed. Jamel Dean, Daxton Hill, and Taylor Moton. I would have definitely taken 2 linemen over 2 DBs. But this creates a nasty secondary and gives us Taylor Moton as an upgrade. But we missed out on Orlando Brown. I really wanted to get him. And I made a very good offer. Kamara to the Falcons. I'd love Saints fans' perspective on that move. Jamal Adams replaces Daxton Hill. Calvin Ridley is going to Philadelphia. Sauce Gardner to Tampa. Orlando Brown to Jacksonville. 2 years, $37-ish million. What'd I offer? Like 3 years, 60 something? Sometimes you're just not going to win. Juju to the Broncos. Von Bell to the Bucks. Mekhi Becton to Cincinnati. Kayvon Thibodeau to the Raiders. Isaiah Wynn to the Cowboys. David Andrews to Cincinnati. Azeez Ojulari going to Tampa. Jabril Peppers to the Commanders. Matt Hennessy ends up going to Dallas. So, with that not going exactly how I wanted it to, wow, Desmond Ridder just signed with the Raiders. The Falcons were so good. Where's Malik Willis going? Because Willis is still out there after his amazing season last year. So now if we check out the offensive line and just only available players, Laken Tomlinson, I'll take a look at him in a second. I feel like the trades just became a necessity. Laken Tomlinson. He's a very solid player. And we have solid guards. I think he might be marginally better than Church. But Church still has the chance to develop a bit more. And he isn't 34 years old. So I'm probably not replacing Church with Tomlinson. He's a good starter if you desperately need one. He could also play center, though, is the thing. And I believe he was drafted to play center. If Tomlinson's there, that's kind of Wembley insurance. Kappa might be decent. Tomlinson was drafted as a center initially, correct? And then here's Alex Kappa, who is the other interior option, who I think would still be intriguing. But I'm going to give the edge to Laken Tomlinson. Oh, he was drafted as a guard. Did he play center in college then? Because for some reason I remember center being somewhere in his history. Maybe it was always guard. But he might have to expand here in this series for us. But now you think about, is the offensive line at this stage now going to be enough? Taylor Moton, we're going to move him to left tackle here. Do I ever look for athletic ability for old linemen? In regards to the running game, usually. But right now, I'm not very focused on athleticism. I feel like the tackle situation now is improved, but the interior also gets eaten up. I think we might have to still be in this guard market. I think ultimately we're going to have to make the trades, or at least a trade of some sort. Tomlinson or not, I think that we have enough to go after one of the top guards on maybe a team that didn't finish great last year. Let's just take a look at who had the worst win percentages. Like, are there teams here we could target that, maybe make some sense? Like, I shouldn't take away a lineman necessarily from the Baltimore offense, but I'm just going to write down the worst teams. Please do the gritty. Yeah, maybe if I can throw less than 10 interceptions in a season. I don't want to take Mike Gesicki's title for worst gritty. I want him to be able to hold on to that. And then I'm excluding the division rivals. So I'm just looking at kind of the teams here at the bottom alongside us. Anybody who went like under 500. All right. So let's take a look at the top guards that are out there. The best guard in the league is Quentin Nelson. That's that left guard. At right guard, you got Wyatt Teller. Chris Lindstrom is available. I'll tell you the first players that pop up that are on this like bad team list I have. And Shaq Mason is one. And actually, I thought about him earlier because he was also just traded from Tampa in real life. Shaq Mason. I got to double check the injuries on guys. Please trade Henry for a late first. I won't be trading him for a first round pick, but I might be using him to try and upgrade this offensive line. Yeah, he's 33 years old, so he is an option. There's Shaq Mason. Michael Onwenu is also an option here at 28 years old, but I'm not really thrilled by anybody having a pass block rating that low. Yeah, Quinn's pass blocking isn't quite what I want to see. What about at left guard here? Joel Bitonio. Cleveland was good last year. So if I'm going to trade with a winner, I have to really give them something nice. Hey, Kane, thanks for another great stream. Please put Jenkins at left tackle and keep Moten at right. Yeah, I might flip-flop. I may have to do that. Probably better because he is just a better overall player. Jonah Jackson, Luke Long, Dalton Reisner. So Shaq Mason's there. I'm curious what they would want in a trade. And yeah, one of the packages I'm kind of considering here is like, you know, Timmy Church plus maybe Derrick Henry if it makes sense for the team. You know, giving an aging running back to a bad team is something else that's a little debatable. I'm not giving up Moten to do this. Please get AJ Bingham, second time donating for him. The thing is they ask for so much, and I have needs I need to address. I wish that he'd get traded, though. Let's reverse engineer this, okay? Let's see, where could Derrick Henry go that he'd be like a significant upgrade? You know, the Bucks. I mean, he's older. Tampa was under 500 last year. The Cardinals, they were under 500 last year as well. The Chiefs, I don't really want to play against him if it comes down to it in the AFC. The Commanders, as an option alongside Antonio Gibson to help get them over the edge. They need the interior help worse than we do. I cannot trade him to Miami, though. Cannot do it. Eagles. They were the worst team in the league last year, so I'd have to give them a pretty good haul. Landon Dickerson hasn't really developed outstanding here. Yeah, that's why they're rebuilding. Falcons just got Kamara. San Francisco's got James Robinson. Giants got Saquon. The Lions? I mean, they were a playoff team, I believe, last year. They're not on... Oh, they are on my list. They were actually bad. Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, and they just got Ruiz. Green Bay. Yeah, Carolina's out, I'd say. The Saints. New Orleans was, I think, an 8-9 team. But they don't really have a guard here. Kenneth Walker. Vikings got Dalvin. So a lot of you are saying Frank Ragnow. So this would be at center then. Yeah, we do have good pass protecting skills there. I think in this case, too, you could send them back Wembley as part of the deal so they would still have somebody that could play. Derrick Henry would be a boost for their offense. Move Jenkins inside and trade for a tackle. That is also a play I don't mind. Yeah, I'll check his contract, but the Ragnow deal is awful tempting. Entering the last year of his deal, so I could re-sign him probably. Oh, those sack numbers allowed are so nice. Now, they have to also be interested in the players I'm willing to give up. So, if we get the talk started here with Derrick Henry and Chris Wembley, that's where we're at. Now, remember, the Lions, like, the reason why I'm checking on whether teams were good or not is because I'm looking to trade a 32-year-old running back. So he's going to have more value to a winning team. Now, the thing you have to remember about Detroit, they were a really good team in this franchise. But last year, Miles Jeffrey got injured. Now, they sucked with him. But he missed weeks 7 through 12. So that has to also impact things a little. But yeah, they had a losing record even with him. So it was a down year. Their defense looks kind of terrible. But he missed 5 or 6 games. It's a team that could also use Jeffrey Simmons. I'm an hour late, but excited for this offseason. Go Falcons and go Canes Titans. Appreciate that, Aaron. I don't care how many sacks Wembley gave up. He gave up 42% of the snaps by not playing. Lions need a corner? Yeah, they do. I think Sewell's trade value would be way higher. He's only 25 and he's a superstar. He's one of their cornerstone players. I mean, you could argue Ragnow is as well, but he's not the same, I don't think, in terms of value. Tackle is more valuable than center by a significant margin. Yeah, we could also see if they like Church, but they have a good guard situation. So they're looking for a center if we do this deal. Like, their offensive line is complete right now. They don't really like Church much more. Yeah, I think Jeffrey Simmons is the player. Like, and defensive tackle is listed as one of their needs. Like, but then if we trade Jeffrey Simmons, now we've got to look at our D tackle situation. But this would help their defense improve. And he's 29 and a superstar. So I don't think I should have to give up anything more than Jeffrey Simmons if I wanted to get him. Simmons for Sewell. The pass block power is lower than you'd like to see. Better run blocking ratings and then just really good pass block finesse. Reasonable contract. Wow. Derrick Henry and Aleem McNeil would get us Sewell. Derrick Henry, Jeffrey Simmons, and we get Sewell in a pick or something? The Derrick Henry, Aleem McNeil trade, that is like, I wouldn't even consider giving him that one. They like Simmons a lot. Do they have a role player of any? That'd be too much. I can't get Chris Barnes from them. Oh, he was a guy I liked a lot last year. Oh, God, they got Chris Barnes. This could be like a huge blockbuster deal. He's their fourth receiver. I feel like if I put Barnes in there, I don't know if they'll take it, but I know teams love Henry. Yeah, we're already in the unrealistic trade range now. We're just looking at value at this point. I wouldn't be doing Ragnow and Sewell. I don't think the Lions would be willing to trade Sewell either. That's just what I think would be like the starter for making this trade ever equal in value. Sewell's backup? I can't imagine he's got like a great backup. Montel Fitzsimmons. Yeah, 74 overall is not going to fix this team. If I take these guys out and I run Jeffrey Simmons in the trade finder, this is what teams tend to think of him. Like, you can pull off highway robbery in a lot of these cases. A stud tackle, a first and a second round pick. You could do Simmons for Sewell straight up. I mean, come on. Icky, Ayuk, and a 6. Jeff will have a better year with a stacked secondary. He could. But I've got to think about how I'm getting this offensive line constructed this year. Oh, man. I appreciate that, Tony. I had to wear a nice one for the occasion today. Yeah, it's always hard. This is one of the reasons why trades are never a big part of my series, is because it's easier to not trade than to make trades that people won't have problems with. Yeah, Elijah Vera Tucker. I was looking at him yesterday too, but I didn't like where his development went at all. Zion Johnson's development was terrible. That ain't good enough. I think I'd be willing to trade Simmons for like a top tackle, but I feel like Penei Sewell is starting to get into that weird territory. We're still in stage 1 of free agency. Who's available at DT? Yeah, we should take a look. Pierce. We have a run stopper. BJ Hill. No one great. Sewell plus day 3 pick for Simmons plus day 2 pick. Detroit drafted Fitzsimmons in the first round to replace Sewell? Or did they draft him to replace Taylor Decker at left tackle? Was he really a first round pick? Yeah, Decker's the older one. Day 1 starter. I should probably move him to left tackle for them. I think I'll do that for them. No reason to just behind Sewell with no chance. Yeah, the name is familiar. First round, pick 9. Henry and a third for Ragnow and Davis. I do think trading for Ragnow is a lot more reasonable. They do need a defensive tackle badly. Like, their defense was not good. I think sacrificing an older piece of their offensive line is very reasonable for them. I feel like, also, they have Ragnow as a trade target. I know we could get Penei Sewell, but I think we're going to trade for Ragnow instead. Sounds good, Blitzkrieg Dragon. I appreciate you stopping by. 52 months. That's awesome. I need more coming back, though. 29-year-old defensive tackle for a 30-year-old center. I don't mind that situation. Simmons for Ragnow plus a 4. Henry for a DT. That's kind of what I'm starting to think now, is we use Henry to help get us a new defensive tackle to replace Simmons. But I need something more coming back from Detroit. And now I am not afraid to see what it takes to get Chris Barnes from them. He was a first-round pick. Whoops, I just lost the trade. Their fourth receiver, a center they have on the trade block, and I'm going to help them fill their greatest need with a superstar player that's 29. I'm okay if I have to give up more than this. Now, I don't want to have to include Henry in this trade. Do they like Cedric Samuel? They do like Cedric Samuel. I get that he was a first rounder last year. He's their fourth receiver. It's an A.J. Bingham situation all over again. It's never going to be fully realistic, but we try to keep it reasonable. Simmons, Samuel, Ragnow, Barnes. I could look at the contracts of their receivers, but their receivers aren't like super old, 26 and 25 years old. Like they might have to get re-signed, but also they might have just been re-signed. There's 2 years for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Jameson Williams would be probably year one of a new deal now, because CPUs I don't think get the 5th-year option. Yeah, they already signed him, so their contracts, like, there isn't a lot of playing time up for grabs. Unless you were playing over Bryan Edwards. And it was clear he didn't last year. They should get rid of Edwards and just play Barnes. Yeah, the receiver contracts are really low. They do view Barnes as a day one starter, so that's where it does get a little more maybe unreasonable. Have a look at Duvernay Tardif, Beast O-lineman. I would have to still with the Chiefs, or where is he at now? Didn't I last see him pop up with the Jets? He's not here. He might not even be in the series anymore. I want to see their depth chart. Because they really should be getting a role for Barnes. He's their 4. You know Amon-Ra is going to be a slot. Why not draft capital instead? You get players you need now. They get picks for the future. I kind of wanted to still use my picks, but yeah, I guess the way we're handling things here, I don't necessarily need to use a lot of them. Let's see. Still got some receivers out here that are available, and Hamler would also be a deep threat. Quez Watkins, Calvin Austin, Chark, James Colombo. Whoops, I need available, not just all options. If I trade for Ragnow, move Ruiz to center, that's a good call for Detroit. Then they can fill in guard. Then I might be able to, I guess I could maybe trade them Timmy Church. But then I have to find a left guard, and I don't want to. So DJ Chark is available. Sky Moore is out there. Cedric Wilson. Why another receiver? I've just been looking for a deep threat to have on the team, just a pure deep threat that probably doesn't get a lot of looks. I know Randolph runs a ton of deep routes, and Bynes can do a lot of that as well. But I was hoping to find somebody that I can just, I know they're there to go take the top off the defense and let these guys do what they got to do. But also, we could find maybe a route runner that can just reverse the roles a little bit. I mean, Sterling Shepard is out there. What are his route runnings? Because he does have the mentor tag as well. Robbie Anderson had the mentor tag. I'm just not as interested in Robbie Anderson. I'm probably going to offer a deal to Shepard because he's not even looking for much. I mean, like 4 point something to be a mentor, can play slot. I think that's kind of an easy one there. And then you got Hamler as another guy who can just go deep. I look at more than just speed. I want the high acceleration as well. So Hamler might be someone to go for. Let's get back to our trade here. So I'm going to take Chris Barnes off the board, and I'm going to say the Lions still intend to build around him. But clearly, they're open to trading Frank Ragnow. And I'm willing to give them Jeffrey Simmons, but I need something coming back. Running back Derek Dixon. Nope. Manny Warner with better catching. Brian Edwards to clear room for Chris Barnes. No. No, I'm not interested in him. I certainly don't need safety or anything in the secondary. That's now easily our most loaded position group. God, this team needs corners still, too. Jeffrey Simmons for Frank Ragnow and a 3rd-round pick. Give them John Barrett. He's a safety. They need a corner. And I ain't got a corner to give them. Those are ours. Frank is old. He's really good. He's a 30-year-old center. That doesn't matter. He is the 2nd best center in the game. You gotta be 30 to get enough XP to get to the 2nd best center in the game. Do I like this Maxwell Allen receiver? He can't run a route and he's slow. I think this move would help out Detroit's defense a lot. All right, I'm cool with the trade. There it is. Jeffrey Simmons has been traded to Detroit. We get Frank Ragnow and a 3rd-round pick, further improving our offensive line. And we get a pick that can maybe help us move up the board a little bit. So, we have added Taylor Moton. Let me move him to right tackle just so I don't forget. We're going to move Elton Jenkins to the left side now. Which will mean now that Jenkins has played, I think, 3 or 4 positions for us. And now, Chris Wembley is available. I am going to discount his trade value probably because of the injuries. But Chris Wembley is available. There's still Church, and I am still interested in getting Laken Tomlinson in free agency. And this is in case Timmy Church wants to stink it up. We already gave him an offer. Nothing's changed there. I still want Laken Tomlinson. And then, what about adding a defensive tackle? Now, one thing I haven't even done is just see like what's on trade blocks around the league. Because I imagine then that Ragnow would have shown up here. Appreciate that, Gold Sparrow. Brand new member. Every month I do a channel member live stream, and the one just happened for May, but there will be another one here in June. In those streams, I tend to record a little gameplay and give you kind of a back... what's the word? Kind of a behind-the-scenes perspective of things I'm thinking about, changes for the channel, and things of that nature. They're always fun. A lot of chances to talk back and forth there. I only passed on Penei Sewell to be a little more realistic. He's a significantly more valuable player. But, ooh, I used to have a draft crush on Zach Richards. He's all right. Michael, new member on the channel. Thank you. Ooh. 25-year-old guard at 79. He struggles with power. I can't. What are those 300-pound linemen in front of you at guard? Power rushers usually. Can't do that. All right, so there's like no like surprisingly really good D tackle out there. So we've got to do the searching ourselves. We no longer have that elite interior defender that Simmons was meant to be, but rarely ever was. I'm happy playing Taylor Jackson and Aleem McNeil, but, you know, Jackson is a normal dev second-year player, so I want to give him some help. But for sure, I think he's good enough to be out there to play a lot. And as the 64th ranked defensive tackle, if you say all 32 teams are starting 2 D tackles, he is a lower caliber starting D tackle already. I cut my sandwiches diagonally. I've never cut a sandwich. Well, if it's a long sandwich, you cut it in half. If it's made with sandwich bread, you cut it diagonally. Imagine like someone who would take like a sub though and cut that perfectly diagonally. That would be a terrifying person. A hot dog is not a sandwich unless you're trying to get like scientific with it, which I'm not a fan of. Not interested in Jordan Davis, by the way. His pass rushing sucks. They don't develop it. And maybe my camera's covering this up, but here's how bad it is. I already had him in a series in this game. I will not do it again. Barmore was developed to be just a run defender. He's a nose tackle here. What have they done? Superstitious. Member. Second month. Appreciate that. Yeah, that Simmons guy in Detroit ain't bad. But I hear he struggles to play as well as you would hope. You know who I really want? These guys. These guys dominate us every game. Their ratings are not even that good. I thought Gillespie's ratings were better the way he was playing against us. Could look to up the user pass blocking 1 or 2 points. You don't have to go far with that slider. That's a very touchy one. Yeah, their strength is really good. That's why we couldn't run on them. They were way stronger than our interior. Vita is a trade target they have here. He's got the tag. But I think that the price would be too high. I no longer have Jeffrey Simmons to trade. I have no first round pick. I do not want to trade away one of our corners or binds or something like that for this need. Anybody else got the trade target tag? Deron Payne does. Halim McNeil on our team. Rashard Parker on our team. So I'm going to take a look then at Deron Payne. I already signed him in a franchise in this game too. He's a better version of Halim McNeil. Not going to get a ton of pass rush there. Messi, I appreciate that that super chat very much. I want to get back in there. I want to make sure that if I get a defensive tackle, they have some power moves. Now, ideally, I'd like to trade for somebody who maybe isn't one of the highest rated players so that I can actually have a chance to get them. And like I said, if I could trade Henry to a team that could really use him, that would also be a bonus because Henry is the main player I want to include in this deal. So who are the running back needy teams? Preferably in the NFC. We know that Detroit would be there, but they don't have a D tackle to trade me because we traded them the DT. Love your content. Came to watching since 2016. Just finally coming around to becoming a member. Really invested in this in the Oakland A's series, and I wasn't really into baseball before. Baseball's awesome, guys. Appreciate that. I've had a lot of good feedback from the baseball series over the years from people who weren't really huge baseball fans, and that's awesome. Nope. I mean, it's arguable if the Commanders could use Henry alongside Gibson. It would be a really good 1-2 punch because Gibson would be their third down back and they'd both play a ton. And they were just in the Super Bowl, so it could be a way for them to get better, but they have to give up one of the reasons why they're already good. In like Jonathan Allen. The Eagles were the worst team in the league last year. And I don't want Jordan Davis. Check for guys listed at 3-4 defensive end too. I may have to do that because I feel like I don't have a ton of choices here. Appreciate that super chat. Maybe we end up coming back to this. We still have a draft to go through. Unless the Saints can fill this role. They were an 8-win team. But unless we got Kadeem Kidd, I wouldn't be interested. I might have to just come back to this. Pocket the idea of a Derrick Henry trade for the time being. Oh, yeah, we can check out some of those ends, too, just to see. Because, you know, if I could get, like, an 83 overall that offers a bit as a run stopper and a pass rusher, like, I'd be pretty thrilled. So I'm going to look at defensive ends and sort by block shed or strength just to find those players. Like Dexter Lawrence, that type of player. Harrison Phillips. Eric Armstead. They have him as a trade target. They have James Robinson, so there's not really a huge need there. John Franklin Myers. I think he'd just be a good target overall. I like the John Franklin Myers option the most so far. Leonard Williams, who's also a mentor. So this would kind of be a Band-Aid solution for a year. What? The Twins already lost? That game took 2 seconds. God, I hate the Guardians, man. Why can't the Twins just score against them? They have Eric Armstead here as a trade target, and this would be a way to get Henry into the NFC instead. What do they value him? Derrick Henry and Rashard Parker. I think that's pretty fair. Gets our front four reestablished. Lets Henry move on to a new team. Check what the Jets want first. That was a pretty good trade there. I might have to make that the one. John Franklin Myers, I like. Younger. 84 shed. Well, it's truly 83. And then 83 finesse. A little bit of everything in his skill set. What would they want for him? Dude. You'd really take this trade on the left? You don't got to give up anywhere near as much. Now, it's a different caliber player. You got 84 in John Franklin Myers at star. They're pretty tight in overall, but how much better truly is Armstead? So they seem to like Brian Cook. And I've already talked about trading Brian Cook. Might we keep Derrick Henry? I don't know. What if we still want to solidify things with a guard later? Who else did they like? Oh, it was Wembley. Their top need right now is at tackle. I wouldn't mind sending them Malachi Mitchell if they really like him. I mean, he's an okay pass protector, but he's not starting caliber. Henry and Wembley for Myers and Pick. Won't see Henry and Jets in big games anyway. I think that'd be a significant overpay for us. Yeah, I like this well-rounded skill set. I think he's definitely the target. So, yeah, it's not much more than Brian Cook. Which I think is like a little bit low on their part. What I think I'll do is I'll offer them Mitchell, because they have a little interest in him. And I'll throw in a pick. A late pick. Man, this doesn't even feel right, though. They are not valuing Franklin Myers the way they really should. I should have to give up more. How have they gotten trade value in this game so wrong? It's not that hard. It honestly is not that hard to get better than this. Yeah, I want to see his contract, which I'm not worried about it. I'm fine with that. Kane forgot to mention this before, but your Rockies and A's baseball franchises got me back into MLB The Show, and now I have a franchise going as the Dodgers. All the top players are 30 plus, and the farm system needs help. Yeah, you can win for a while, but you wonder how you win 5 years down the road. That's a fun one. That's an interesting franchise there. I feel like for this trade, I should have to give up like Church or something else that they could use. I think I'm going to give them Wembley to make this more fair. As long as like they don't have like a really good young center on this team. That's exactly what they have. They don't have good guards. They have a decent tackle there. They don't have a right tackle because they lost Becton. Cook, Church for Myers, Henry for Shaq Mason plus a pick. You can kind of start to make it make sense that way. Timmy Church. I think this is the trade that is more fair. He has a 2-year contract. A little spendy, but 2-year deal. Isaiah, I appreciate that super chat. And maybe a late pick in there. Yeah. All right. We're going to make the move. I think that's a fairer haul for Franklin Myers. They get a young, good Deb trait guard that they can work with. They get Brian Cook, a 6. And we take a piece from, a loaded position group for them. But they're one of the worst teams in the league. So we help them get younger. And they don't really have to give up a ton overall because they still have a really good D-line. Well, some pieces. We took their second best. Also their oldest. Or second oldest if Carl Lawson's older. Oh well. So then you look at, all right, the shuffling of everything continues and Derrick Henry. And I think now there's one trade that stands out among the rest for completing the offensive line and getting Henry out of the AFC. He is a lot better than Leonard Fournette at this stage, I'd say. And they have an interest in trading Shaq Mason. I have an interest in acquiring Shaq Mason. Last year of his deal, same with Derrick Henry. They don't like him. I think straight up this would be fair. I will offer it. I guess I should have to throw something else in there. They don't like him. Shaq is going to cost us. Let's hold. Laken Tomlinson's out there in free agency. Let's hold. And Derrick Henry remains a Titan for at least a few more minutes. All right. We got Laken Tomlinson, Sterling Shepard, 2 veterans. Now, we've given up some O-line depth in the process here. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and pick some of that back up. Depending on what options you have. Random question here, Kane. Do you like or watch the UFC? I haven't watched UFC in a very long time. I don't watch a lot outside of football and baseball. I just and the NBA playoffs I've been liking a lot, but recently been trying to get into F1 a little bit. But I don't watch a whole lot of other stuff. Yeah, I think as that pass block power, I think you can live with that. As a backup there. Greg Little. It's like George Fant last year, but not playing every snap. I have a kicker in mind in the draft. Daniel Carlson's right there, though. And Matt Gay was really good for us. I doubt a rookie's going to be better. Let's eval. Decisions have been made. We got Laken Tomlinson and Sterling Shepard. So we have the mentor veteran receiver. We have the mentor bridge playing guard. Not bad. So here's where we are now along the offensive line. Elton Jenkins, left tackle. Laken Tomlinson, left guard. Frank Ragnow's at center, and we still have Chris Wimbley on the roster. Nate Davis playing right guard. Taylor Moton at right tackle. You might not need more than that. And Derrick Henry is still a Titan. All right. Bathroom break, and then we continue on. Y'all got your chair time. Y'all got it. Alrighty. Let's see if there's anything else that free agency really needs to accomplish then, because, you know, maybe Henry remains on the team still. And now Henry's actually a mentor, which is intriguing. So the deep threat role still hasn't really been filled. The veteran role has been. And tight end could use another guy, especially as a more athletic option. I haven't really been watching the NHL playoffs a ton. Too frustrating watching Minnesota suck and all the good teams play in warm weather states. It's like just not the way it should be, right? Rashawn Gary, John Franklin Myers moving to DT. Edge depth is definitely in need. I have a lot of defensive tackles. Rashard Parker. I am actually kind of interested in trading him. Entering last year of his deal. Now, when you're talking about players in like the 70 overall range, Madden's trade logic is actually fine. It's when you get to players who are actually like really valuable. Gerald Everett? Like, how many of these trades rip off a CPU? These are fine. Do the Aaron Banks trade. I'm going to take a look at that one. Top 3 Minnesotans. Prince, Bob Dylan, Mr. Hurricane. I think that'd be the correct order if you were ranking them like that. I appreciate it. Keep Henry. Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make. The young running backs aren't ready for a full load and we can still be competitive. Yeah, I think like if he stays, it can't be for all the carries that he typically got. Like the fumbles, the athleticism, the decline. That's all real. I'm going to pass on Banks for now, but he's all right. I wasn't even done going through my team yet. I have a lot of D tackles. Maybe a linebacker. Especially like a mentor. And then corner, you know, the 4 and 5 spots, if you want to call that a need. And then safety, we got a lot here now because of Dax Hill joining the team. Still got Ronnie Harrison, who becomes a definite trade option. He's just a slower, not as good Dax Hill. Frazier, new channel member. I appreciate you showing support there. If you haven't already done so, please drop a like on the stream. I'd appreciate that, everybody. Let's see what teams would give us for Ronnie Harrison. Now, one thought that just crossed my mind is that Harrison would be an interesting player for us to add to the running back room if we felt the need. Again, that's not a trade that has to happen right now, though. But I feel like at a 76, we might be able to strengthen the running back depth with him. Henry and Warner equals Elliott and Pollard for a season. I can't see Warner being Pollard. I can see Rashad Polite being Pollard in the right usage and scheme. But I think definitely Henry needs to lose playing time if he stays. Yeah, you could also trade him for picks. Let's get closer to the draft, maybe. I want a mentor at linebacker, Eric Kendricks. He views us as an underdog, though. This might not be a great fit. I probably should have checked on his ratings, but I think I roughly know what it'll be. I have to withdraw the offer to see ratings. Probably be like 82 speed at this point. Yeah. Little cover skill. Chad Muma being available caught my attention just now. Because he can stop the run really well. You can have him replace that Pete Werner role, I think. Although the block shedding is a little concerning there. I'd like a little more than that. Maybe TJ Edwards is better. Definitely rated better, and 5 teams like him. Zach Cunningham reunion. Leo Chanel. I'm interested here in Chanel. Yeah, he's a better run stopper. Herschel Walker trade for Taylor, so you don't have to play him 2 times a year. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Tired of playing Jonathan Taylor. Man, Grady Jarrett was here the whole time. I don't even remember Grady Jarrett being available earlier. Specifically, I'd like to add an edge rusher, but I may have to come back to him because he's just too good to let stand around as a free agent. You got Kyron Johnson. He's always going to be welcome here, the way he's rushed the passer. But I'm going to offer a low contract. May have to come back to it later. Clowney. Titans already tried that once, though. Jermaine Johnson is available. Just didn't develop very well for the Jets. Six teams want him, though, so. Were teams interested in Grady? No. Well, if no one's offering, I'm offering out of principle, just because he's a really good player. Alex Highsmith played really well against us, so he stands out. But I feel like his finesse rushing would also make him a decent backup. I just have too many offers given right now. So let's see if we got any new signings. Grady Jarrett. That's the only one. I wish it would tell us like who all we missed on, because I had 4 other offers and I'm looking at 1,000 names a minute here, so can't keep everything, keep track of it all. We lost out. Did we offer to TJ Edwards? We offered to Leo Chanel, and he must have gone elsewhere. McCreary went to Seattle. We'll probably never see him again. Yeah, Chanel went to the Texans. And we're going to see more Monty Rice. Teddy Bridgewater back to the Vikings. Oh, yeah, did Willis get a new team? He did. He's a Ram. Malik Willis to the Rams? The new starter with the Rams. So the Raiders decided, you know what? We're going to bring in Desmond Ridder instead. And that means the Falcons now have to counter. And this is all they have right now. Jameis Winston. Where does D-Hop land? I'm going to have to go KC, man. If they can fit it in, I think Kansas City would be hard to turn down after spending his whole career in Houston and Arizona. I mean, he's had a fair amount of playoff appearances, but like he was never on teams that you felt like would actually have a Super Bowl shot. Not to me anyway. The Cards were like the last undefeated team a few years ago, and I didn't think that... I know they didn't do well in the playoffs that year, but to me, out of all the teams that are like the last undefeated, the Cardinals were the most underwhelming to me that year. I don't know how a D-Hop question led to me just trying to make Cardinals fans angry, but it happened. Let's move on. D-Hop to the Ravens. I think without Odell, it'd be easier, you know, especially because Odell at $18 million. I think Hopkins is going to come in a little bit north of that, but not quite like the 29 he was due. I couldn't offer to Highsmith in that stage. We had reached the end of that spot. D-Hop and Philly, if they can make it work, that'd be one of the best receiving trios you've probably ever seen. Now I get to play the game of where is he listed again? I thought he was listed at right outside. It's possible somebody beat me to it. Anthony Barr is from Indiana? I thought he was from LA. I know he went to UCLA. I guess I thought he was from LA at the same time. Anthony Barr's from Indiana? Because, like, that stuff is usually right. I don't think Eric Kendricks signed. He was the other guy I tried target, but he still hasn't taken a deal. Born in Indiana, raised in LA. Okay. Yeah, I probably missed out on Highsmith just because it was a numbers game, and now he's... Dude, they got everybody I was looking at. Kayvon Thibodeau was available? Jeez. Maybe it's something we think about a little bit later. Yeah, a little underwhelmed there. I might offer to Julian Aquara as like the one veteran I'll still try to pursue. And then we got to get to the draft eventually, right? What are my picks for next season? I think I have all of them, but this upcoming draft, I'm missing a 1, 4s, 5s. I don't have a lot. I ever get Matt Gay? I think I did. We have just signed Eric Hendricks, and yes, I did get Matt Gay. So we still have a kicker. I had scouted the kicker I like a lot, but I'm just not convinced he's actually going to be better. And Julian Aquara signs, and Kyron Johnson is still waiting out, I guess. Let's see if there was an additional retirement that's relevant. J.D. McKissick. So in this stage 2, sometimes they throw like an extra retirement or 2 at you, and you got to keep that in the back of your mind when you got a guy like Derrick Henry, maybe. I'll probably be doing a new series in Madden 24, but we don't even know any information on the game. They have not even officially announced the game yet, and it's going to come out in 2.5 months. 5th-year options. Terrell Riddick. We are going to be picking this one up. I think that his rookie year was still his best. Hopefully year 4 can top that. But we're going to pick that up. We have a second one, and that's going to be for Sal. I'm probably going to pick this up. What are they going to call Madden 25? That's a good question. I think they might end up calling it just Madden 25. Because, like, if there's anything I've learned over the years, it's that companies do not care about naming conventions. Like the new Nintendo 3DS, the Xbox Series X. Companies don't really care if their names suck, so why would they care if their names get redundant? I think they're just going to call it Madden 25. I think 2025 would be cool. Roman numerals. I could maybe see it. Why don't we get on to the draft? Just call it 26. 24 and a half. What if they just call it Madden? Oh yeah, we got private workouts still, and I do have players in mind that I want that info on. Now, how has this changed our approach to the draft is the thing. Because now the offensive line has 5 starters I think you feel pretty good about, and a 6th guy now in Wembley. I think that guard is still on the table because Tomlinson is not a long-term solution, nor is he like high overall. At the same time, Taylor Moton's 32. So it's a perfect chance for us to go and find a tackle and a guard to start developing, but you're not boxed in now to having to do that right away with your first pick. So this is going to be an odd draft, I feel. So I've already got a list of players I wanted more information on. I have a couple guards, a receiver, and I think I might spend one of these now on the receiver because I feel like I have good offensive line data, and I'd like more info on Raekwon Stark. So Stark also had a draft story. He is the college all-star MVP. He is a deep threat. And he ended up running sub 4.4, elite acceleration. And we just don't know like how good his hands really are. We know that he can't really run a lot of routes. He can go deep. Can he be this year's Chris Barnes? That might be our deep threat right there. But I'd like a little more information. And then I have 4 interior offensive linemen I thought I could get more info on. So at left guard, you got Dennis Allen. But I think he was mocked to go in the first round, wasn't he? If so, I don't want to waste it. His athleticism looks really good. But I just wanted the pass block grade before I take a guy in the second round. And then at right guard, you have Ladarius Huggins and Jeremy Austin. Ladarius Huggins, A to C pass block. I like the strength came in decent. At least it's not marginal. I wanted to know how good of a pass protector he truly was. I think Huggins has to be one of the 3. And then Jeremy Austin. Decent strength, pretty good athlete. We already have some A grades for his pass blocking. I guess I was curious how good of a run blocker he was, because he might actually be a 3rd round player. I think it's going to be Huggins, Austin, and the receiver. So we're going to confirm that, lock it in. Yeah, there were a couple of UDFAs at receiver that looked like they were going to run really fast for us. Travis Proctor, he ended up running 4.32 and 4.29. So another deep threat. And then Boss was just a slot. He's not the same speed. But 4.4 as a slot is really good. I feel like he's going to be kind of like a Byron Bentley archetype. Short route running, athleticism, not much else. Who won the Super Bowl? It was the Bills in dominant landslide fashion. Here is the mock draft. Now, I have not talked at all about these top players because we don't have a first round pick, but afterwards we'll go through and see what these teams were able to do. The Jags pick at 5, the Texans at 6, so we'll see what our rivals end up doing. But don't expect us to be in play for any of these players. Yeah, Dennis Allen, there was no point in getting info on a guy who might go 14. And with me not being in the first round, it might just be a chalk draft that goes directly in order like this. Falcons, they're in the quarterback market now, and we'll see how they do. This is a huge pick for them. Man. Huggins might go at 32. So that might be a spot where we look to move up in the late first round. Before we get underway, I might make one more trade. Unless I want Ronnie Harrison to stay as depth for right now, and maybe that's what I'll do. Let's begin. The Philadelphia Eagles were the worst team in our league last season, and they're going to open the NFL draft this year at number 1, selecting Jaleel Cunningham, which was the projected pick for them. Mike Jenkins, I think I just ended up with back-to-back drafts with generational players after never having one in any of my drafts all year. Got a DT in the 3rd round last season and traded up to one for a corner just now. You're telling me you got a generational player in the 3rd round? I've never even heard of that. There's Detroit getting a corner. We knew they needed that desperately. So Detroit's defense is getting stronger this year. San Francisco has taken a quarterback in Nate Peck from Baylor. So San Francisco, who'd they have at quarterback when we played them last year? Because it wasn't Aaron Costello. Was it Teddy? So they get their quarterback now. The Jags. Glenn McKinley. Yeah, we've seen the Texans load up on D-line. We've seen the Colts already have D-line. We had to strengthen our offensive line as our rivals continue to load up on talent there. Tom Young to the Vikings. Chester Downing, a wideout going to Chicago. Couple receivers flying off the board here. Now we have to also check on the guys that I wanted additional information on so we can really plot out our plan. But this isn't in our trade-up range yet. I think once we get to 20, we hit the pause button on the draft. Well, 21. A quarterback to Indy. So they signed Jalen Hurts, who in this series is more of a bridge quarterback. And that's what his trait is. We might be looking at a new starter. If he comes in at a high enough overall, he will take over that spot on the depth chart with the day one starter trait. And he regressed -9, -5 short accuracy at age 28. That's disgusting. Five short accuracy at age 28. Holy cow. We'll check out our schedule in a little bit. Let's build up the anticipation first. Let me check out those players then that I got the additional info on. How good was Ladarius Huggins? We got him up to... Did not work? We didn't end up getting the information. I didn't get it for Austin either. Thanks, Madden. I think it worked on Stark. Good route running, deep. Good kick returner. Good at staying on the field. He's a one-dimensional player, though, it seems. So I'd say that 3 or 4 range is still fair. He's got the elite speed. He's got the downfield ability. There's just not a whole lot else. But 3rd or 4th round, I think, is... I was never considering, like, early, like 2nd round. That's where I was hoping the offensive line information would come in. So did it give me info elsewhere? Like, okay, you screwed me out of 2 linemen there. Are there other guys I got the info for? I don't know. Because now, like, if I have to trade up for a guy and I don't even have... If I have A to C pass block, I'm going to look like a fool. I do that enough. Here's the O-line board after like the first 20 picks. Still got Charles. Still got Pearson. I think of Pearson as more of a 3rd to 4th round player along with Pierce. So as far as offensive linemen, I graded with top 2 round grades going through it yesterday. You got Josh Charles. There's Gallagher as a 2 or 3. You know, the run blocking just doesn't look promising right now, but I think Gallagher looks all right. Newell I have as a 4-5. At center, both these guys I have as 3 and 4. And then Huggins, I had as a 2, but I wanted more information. For Austin, I had as a 2 or a 3, and I wanted more information. So, you know, Huggins is projected to go in the first round. It's a risk to take him that high. To move up for a guy to play on the bench unless he has like hidden dev. At right tackle here, I had Bowman as a 2. But also kind of late 1 just based off of pass protection alone. Bowman is the more sure thing. I'd feel way better about Bowman. So how hard would it be to trade here with the Chargers? I imagine quite difficult to move up into the first. A 3+. The thing is, though, is I have no 4 or 5 to sweeten this. So it feels a little early. There's Cole Anderson going. And the quarterback, Pat Schillinger. Now, I do have 2 seconds. No, I had 2/3, I mean. 3/3. 1 second. 42, 67, 74, 89. 4 picks to do some damage. I'm going to hold for now. I liked Gallagher a lot at guard, and I wonder if he might end up being a bit like, you know, when I was able to get Church and when I was able to get Wembley. Chad Pizzo, tight end. Chad Pizzo. Is he going to be a star for Kansas City? There goes Bowman. I'm going to let him go there. You know, it hurts to trade up for a guy just to sit behind Moton, I think, is not the right move. There's going to be tackles in next year's class, too, if he were to retire or something. Matt Riddick. Hugh Burnett. Marvin Trent. Kyle Cash. And if things are supposed to go as planned, this will likely be another offensive lineman. And it's Ladarius Huggins. So, looking at our board, Josh Charles is like right where we'll end up in that range. He's all pass block. All the time. Pure tackle. Pure pass protector. Clayton Sweeney, also going to be in this range. I had as a first or second round player. He was just a bad athlete, but a good pass protector who offers more in the running game. So, a better overall prospect, I think, considering the run blocking. And now we're in the second round, and then I also liked Gallagher. Like, someone's going to be there when we pick. He could just be Malachi Mitchell, but we do need that backup tackle role, and A grades are the best you can get. I can't remember if Mitchell was more of like a B grade guy or an A grade anywhere. He graded nicely. There's a reason I really focused on him like I did. And the linemen here aren't really going. Two picks to hold on. And we are on the clock. All right, round 2, pick 10. I think Josh Charles here is really intriguing. But you know he's just never going to have any running game skill and really poor strength. Clayton Sweeney's not that strong either, though. Low strength linemen will always struggle. And it's hard to make it work, that's for sure. Josh Charles, James Pearson. I didn't like Pearson as much. Marginal strength. Cordell Singh. I had him as a first or second round player as well, even though his talent said 2 to 3. Solid strength on him, so he's at least average. You take that, right? All A grades here in the pass protection department. I guess I overlooked him a little bit for some reason. Yeah, he's on my board as a first or second round pick. Maybe he's the guy then, because not a liability as much against the run. I think he's definitely better than who we were looking at. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, he's going to be our pick here. Whole hidden development. Let's go. So, now, does this create a situation where you want to consider him at tackle and Jenkins at guard? Or do you just develop Singh as guard and then move him out to tackle? Because he might struggle a bit more there. So we stay in the second round and we go get a nice offensive lineman. We'll see what his ratings look like on day 1. We don't pick again until early in the third, but because we have 3 thirds, I think trading up is not a bad idea, as Josh Charles is off the board. I want to see just on my board what else is even there. Put Singh at guard and he'll replace Moten. If his ratings are good enough on day 1 to play over Tomlinson and justify it, then I think that might happen. I don't think he's going to be a 76 because his talent was 2 to 3. I think he's still going to be like a 70 or a 69 overall. I'm wondering now about some of this D-line depth I've been looking into. I have Falk as a 5th to 6th rounder. Marco Griffin as a 2. Blake as a 3. Rhodes as a 3. So we'll come back on Marco Griffin, Brennan a 2, and Morgan a 2. And then the linebackers not early enough to start considering in this range. So Griffin would probably be a defensive tackle for us instead. Really good acceleration, great strength. He has B block shed, C power, and B to D finesse. So depending on where finesse is really determines how good of a prospect he is. He looks really good, though. And then the true tackles here, I had also as second-round players. Brennan, elite strength, and just, he's way too good of an athlete to slip out of the first round, it looks like. B block shed, B finesse, C power. Like, he is... What if he has F injury, I guess, is the one thing. Do I have any stories on him written down? No injury on him that I know of. So injury scares you a little bit. And then Jeff Morgan. Another good athlete. Not as good in the running game, maybe, with the solid strength and the C block shed, but just a good interior pass rusher. Maybe a couple of injury concerns on him, too. So Eric Brennan might be the guy. Especially now looking at a team that doesn't have Jeffrey Simmons anymore. And you just hope the injury is actually not that bad. How old is he? 21? I'm willing to move up for Brennan. Let's see if the Saints will play ball. I don't think this would work. I'm just gauging value. It is 20 spots I'm trying to move up. It's not like a ton. It'd probably work if I were patient. I guess there's also future picks to consider. Future 5. Best 6. Sick. All right. I wasn't sure that... I didn't think that would be enough, and it doesn't feel like I gave up enough, but... at some point, they need to put in actual trade logic. They'll advertise that they did. It's still gonna stink though, probably. In all likelihood. Eric Brennan. Normal development, but very strong, very athletic. And definitely, I think you got to look at trading Rashard Parker now. Because he's Parker plus. He's like just as strong, maybe a tad lower because Parker had elite strength, but he's Parker with more to offer. Clayton Sweeney goes to the Dolphins. Jeff Morgan goes the next pick. So that was the right range to look at trading up. And James Pearson goes. Chris Gardner. Alan Craig. He was one of my favorite corners I had. Top corner on my board. But I had him as a 3rd to 4th rounder. And none of my grades really assume development. Like, a guy is obviously better if he has better dev, but I have no way of knowing, so I never assume. Marco Griffin goes to the Rams to be teammates with Malik Willis. With my next pick, I'm going to be probably targeting guard. I like that we got a young tackle. I think now getting a young guard to develop is also critical. As we make our way into the third round. The Heisman winner, by the way, was wide receiver Emmanuel Farrow. He might have gone in the first round. I don't remember. Probably did. No, man. I was trying to hold on a little bit longer. Gallagher goes to the Bears, and we're on the clock. All right, let's see what's left for interior linemen. LaShawn Newell, 4th to 5th round talent for me. Davidson, 4. Jeremy Austin, 2 to 3. Fuller, a 4. Pass protector archetype. Decent strength, good speed. And looks to be a pretty good pass protector. With a chance at not being the worst run blocker in the world, but if we try to just think about what his skill set will likely offer, you know, lower strength, good athleticism. I'm saying that pass block power probably comes in closer to the C side than the A side. But also his run block finesse is pretty bad. So he's there as just a pass protector. And then Matt Davidson, I had him as a 4. Let's just reevaluate. Poor run blocker. So I don't like him as much. And then Newell, a 4th or 5th. I think he probably had a big hole in his game too. Outstanding athlete. He's somebody I needed some more information on. Trade down. No one you really feel all that strong about, right? Raekwon Stark, he might go sometime. I feel like I still like to get him. Farrell, the Heisman winner, is staring at us right there, by the way. So he's 6'3", 221. He did run on the 4.4s, but his athleticism isn't like fantastic. But D short route running, B release is good, B catching is good. F medium route running, just not really on my radar, but he might be okay. He won the Heisman, though. B release, yeah, that does get you excited a little bit. I don't want a 221-pound tight end. Not that bad. He might have a dev, but I just don't think he's a fit, and he's not going to get a lot of snaps with us. Like, he might just be not very good with star dev, and it's like, that's not as valuable if you have a loaded core there. And by the way, Raekwon Stark had a positive story as well. He was a college all-star MVP. So if you consider they both had positive stories, I like the deep threat skill set more of Stark, just as a fit for us. And I would say that the The dev trait upside is pretty similar. What are the trade down options here? We're in the 26th draft, keep in mind. I think this is a hard one to not take. Getting that future 3. Yeah. I'm like getting that future 3 here. Let's see what they moved up for. We pick again in 15, so I feel pretty good about that. They move up for Braden Wall. He's not on my board. I couldn't tell you a thing about him. LaShawn Newell. Quarterback. So the Broncos end up taking the Heisman winning receiver, Emmanuel Farrow. Closing in on our selection, Rashawn Wiggins, Dante Greenfield, Brandon Briscoe. That's a great name. Randy Crowder. He was one of 2 running backs on my board. Can you believe that? Only 2. Still Derek Bowman, the last running back on my board. I was a 4th round player. Ran in the 4.5s, has strength, so I think Manny Warner level athleticism. He might just be Manny Warner. I'm okay with 4.5, especially at 226 pounds. I'd like to see all my picks. So it's this one, and then, okay, 327. So if I want Stark and a lineman, I can do that here. The corners, I didn't feel strongly about any of them, so I think if I just get one later, I'm okay with it. Douglas I had here as a 4th round player, another pass rusher option. B finesse move, B hit power, B tackle. Like, I thought he had a pretty good skill set here. And then I think after we get out of the 3rd, I mean, maybe we can look to trade up, but it's just tough when you're trying to move up 2 rounds at a time. Yeah, I do think that he looks pretty solid here. A lot of you like Jeremy Austin, and I think this might be a decent spot to do it. Just based on that pass protection, and then his strength was at least decent. But that'll give us some more depth there. Oh, and a hidden development option. 2 hidden dev offensive linemen. Wow. In this offseason of all off seasons. Huge. The Raiders are next. They're going to take Xavier Ross. I want to see trade downs. Because if I could get 2 picks this year in a decent spot, I'm interested. but they're probably not going to offer what I want, which is like a 3 and a 4. Give us a quick offseason recap. We have been wheeling and dealing to get offensive linemen because free agency just didn't get us quite as much as we were hoping. We have traded Jeffrey Simmons to help us go and acquire Frank Ragnow from the Detroit Lions. We added Taylor Moton in free agency. Our offensive line is looking in a much, much better spot now. Take the Browns deal. What was the Browns deal? 2 spots for a 6. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Then I can take some flyers. They go Tim Mims. Juan Long. We're back. I think here I'm going to take Stark. I want that speed. I think because of the positive story, there's going to be some development there. And then I don't have to go look at somebody else necessarily for this role. I know he's one-dimensional, but it's the one dimension I'm looking for. That catch in traffic release, though. Man, it's just so narrow. He is the clear-out guy. I just wish that, like, give me release as a D and catching as a B. I don't think we have other needs at this point. I think that our team is mostly in a good spot. Now, it just comes down to if there's other options on the board that offer more upside at a different spot. I don't think the corners do. And then it's receivers. We've taken 2 linemen. It's not going to be a third. It really comes down to Douglas, I feel, versus him. And then if you wanted to see Denario Nash at tight end, I had him as a 5th rounder. 4th to 5th. Elite strength. A little bit of a Dominic Brooks feel to his skill set. What'd he run? 4.8? Yeah, you're not getting elite speed there, but you're getting good speed. And then, what other receivers are out there now that we have combine data? So, for deep threats, I mean, Proctor we looked at earlier, and then Henry Rush. 4.3 speed. Be deep route running. Again, you're probably not getting a whole lot, but I guess there is a chance, looking at like his juke, spin, kick return numbers or his letters. Rush, I had as a 5th to 6th round player. Proctor might have 99 speed. B to D release. I guess you have a chance at some things here. Like, if we're in position, I'm taking Proctor. I think I'm going to take Shaq Douglas here. I think I'm going to take him just because he looks too good to be available here. We're going to go Shaq Douglas. I was looking for a backup guy for Terrell Riddick, and I felt like he was just offering a little too much to be here still. With Stark, it's just in the 3rd round to not get any more than route running and speed. And I have some other speedy receivers available. There's a chance Proctor is better than Stark. I don't know how good that chance is, but there is a decent chance that I think he's better. I want to see the available board, though, and see where he may go. So we're looking very soon on Stark. So if I want him, I've got to move up. How many picks do I have? If I can move up for a pair of 6s, does that change the calculus on this? I'm not afraid to double up. I just want to see how many picks I'm looking at right now. I already gave up a future 5, but I acquired a future 3. I don't think I'm getting here for 2 6s, but could I? Not for 2 6s. I might just take Proctor. When I get fixated on a guy, I usually just go take him, and this is a rare chance, a rare time where I think I'm showing a level of restraint. Is this character growth? What if he's really good? I got an idea. Pedro, you're on the right track right there. Yep. They could use Rashard Parker. We have replaced him. It's the 4th round. We have so many D tackles now. As long as they don't have red interest. They got yellow. You know what they say, if it's yellow, trade the fellow. Let's go. 4th round. Maybe a little bit of an overpay on their part, honestly, for 1 year. But he will start for them. Maybe be a re-signed player. All right. I might take both receivers. But that didn't cost me much for a guy who might have hidden dev. He doesn't have hidden dev. I was told there might be hidden development here. He's a great athlete. So we are going to move on with our lives. And hey, I got him for a defensive tackle with 1 year left on his deal that has already been replaced. That is worth it. And he's going to learn the thing that you guys are forgetting about, he's going to learn so much from Sterling Shepard, and I can still get Travis Proctor. There goes Nash. What if he's a running back? He probably isn't, because he didn't have any other skills. The thing with Stark, actually, is that he was a 100-meter champion at Delaware. It didn't really say that, but those that have their ear to the ground know the track star that is Raekwon Stark. I don't even know what conference is Delaware in. Can I get some help here? What conference would he... All conference sprinter in the, like, AAAC or something? I don't know. The All-American Atlantic Conference? I don't know what they even play in. A punt team gunner. Yeah, a role that is so critical. The CAA. What does that stand for? Coastal Atlantic Athletic Conference. Colonial, come on. It's gotta be Coastal. Colonial Athletic Association. You weren't there when he was finishing second place in the CAA 100-meter finals, but I was. No! No! He was projected undrafted! You can't do that, Madden. I didn't think I'd have to move up into the 5th round. He's going to have 99 speed. I am fairly certain of that. If Green Bay might cut him. If he gets cut, I'll be there. Advance to my next pick. Closing in on a year. Love your content, Kane. Trivia question. Whose protection is worse, your Titans offensive line or your Texans with a 28-3 lead? I'm going to take this line because there's a reason why today spawned the massive frenzy of moves. I'm going to take Dante Boss with this pick. Slot receiver with wheels. This is a guy who can learn from Sterling Shepard. If he's 70, hidden, and can play, I'm going to be so angry. I don't know if I've ever wanted an undrafted, projected receiver more. I should have moved up. For Murphy, what grade did I give you? I gave him a 3 or a 4. Maybe that's a little rich. Good athlete, really good athlete. He's got B press, B to D man, and can kick returns. So you can tell he's a little athlete, right? Yeah, we're going to take Dennis Murphy. I still have 2 picks. I don't have a tight end to take here, I don't think, but I'll look. It's hard on these 50% tight ends. I might just have to wait till UDFAs. Trade Derrick Henry for Travis Proctor? We might have to. I might just empty my board here. Take Howie Folk. Power rusher. Athletic power rusher. In the 7th. That feels better. He just happened to be on my board. And now, for my final act, I will select a kicker who too has hidden development, right? I'm feeling it. He's going to have hidden development at kicker. Larry the Leg Galloway. Normal. 97 kick power, though. Reminder to everyone to like the stream. Love the content, Kane. You heard Breezy. Leave a like if you haven't. Leave a like if you would have taken Travis Proctor. Here are the rookies. 72, 74, 73, 68, 69, 70, 67, 66, 74. Sick. Cordell Singh, hidden dev tackle. Can you start at guard with that run block skill set on day one? I'm going to say probably not as a rookie right away. But man, I don't have to develop him as a pass protector at all. That's your future tackle. Eric Brennan. 99 strength he's going to play with here. And I think that he offers a lot more than Rashard Parker. He's already like the same overall as Rashard Parker. Developed into. I'm a fan of that. Jeremy Austin at guard. Hidden development. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he needs run block work. All these guys do. I don't think I'll have time today for UDFA signings, but we will get through breaking down what went down here. So, Shaq Douglas gives us some depth here as a finesse rusher. And then Raekwon Stark. 95 speed, 96 acceleration. His catching is actually nice with the boost there. His release could be worse too. He can run deep routes. My hope now is that he's just better than Proctor. That's all I hope for. He has some moves. He has some change of direction. He looks better now. 75 deep for a B. He'll probably be like a top 5 deep route runner in this class. And then I doubled up taking Dante Boss. Because now we get the Byron Bentley type of skill set where he has short route running and he's got speed and acceleration to go with it. Like, this is pretty good too. I think Emmanuel Abbott's going to feel the heat from this guy. And then Dennis Murphy. Good athlete, good press, develop him into a player. But right off the bat, he's our 4th best corner, so his spot on the roster is probably safe. And then you got Howie Falk just randomly getting the hidden dev guy in the 7th round. That's pretty exciting. And then a kicker and Larry Galloway. Larry the Leg Galloway. A 71 went number 1 in this game with normal development. Ouch. Howie, you've lost your touch. Mike Jenkins, Christian Barber, Nate Peck is a 74. So here's one of the newest quarterbacks in the league. Normal dev to the San Francisco 49ers. Good short accuracy, decent mobility. Doesn't this feel like the skill set they look for? Like, your arm doesn't have to be super strong. Just have really good short accuracy. You know, a little throw on the run there. Throw under pressure. This guy is just like Super Jimmy. Now, we're going to have to contend with a couple pass rushers that joined our division, including Glenn McKinley, hidden dev. He rushes with power. Luckily, we brought in some reinforcements this year. And we're also going to have to block on that same side from Houston, DeMarcus Colbert. From Utah. He rushes with finesse. So, there you go. A couple more hidden dev pass rushers joining our division for us to defend. Tom Young, Chester Downing, Sammy Bennett. I wanted to see the quarterback that went, though, to the Colts and the Falcons. Normal. Sam Hunter. Like, if you were if there was like a movie that went straight to DVD and it was all about a star quarterback, like, his name would probably be Sam Hunter. I could totally picture that. And then, you know, the Falcons are hoping they can stay hot with a new quarterback who also has normal dev. That's Sam Hunter. He can run. He can run. I had to see Chad Pizzo, man. I couldn't take that seriously. Chad Pizzo. My God, that hairline. Look at this man. Chad Pizzo. Wearing 42. With the mullet. Disgusting number. Oh. Chad Pizzo. That guy is 35 years old. He cannot be going in the first round. I also need to know how good Ladarius Huggins was. You know what? I'm happy with where we ended up because his strength is still on the lower side. His run blocking isn't great. So he's a good pass protector, but so are the other guys who we had the info on. So we didn't have to give up a bunch of picks to go get him. So I'm happy with how that played out for us. Anybody else here I was dying to see? I can probably sort by some ratings and check, but we do have to check on Green Bay now. We do have to check on the Green Bay Packers. If it has a 7, no. Normal development. Similar. He's 24. All right. They just drafted, what's his name from Chicago, who I think was drafted at 25. Because I can't compare players as easily. I have to take a picture of my screen. Velus Jones. He's Velus Jones. But he's 3 overall higher. So Proctor, 1 point faster. Proctor, 2 points acceleration. Stark, Same catching, but he gets the +5 boost. But it's the same. Catch in traffic, Proctor has 78 without his boost. Route running, Stark short by 1, medium, Stark by 1, and deep, Stark by 3. Spec catch, Stark by 1, release, Proctor by 3. Agility the same. I don't know what makes Proctor 3 points better necessarily, but they're very, very similar. And also, Raekwon Stark was a college all-star game MVP. Change of direction. Only 85 on Stark. That doesn't feel great. $93 on Proctor. I give the edge to Proctor. Oh. Not a huge edge, but I do give the edge to Travis Proctor. Checking out our rivals' drafts. Colts got a 72 quarterback and a 72 safety. The Jags, 74 Glenn McKinley, 76 Donovan Horn. Good pick. No other players in the 70s. And then the Texans. 75 Colbert, 74 Ronald Wilbur with Hidden Dev. This is Damian Pierce Part 2. And then 70 overall Tevin Griffith, run stopper, because they didn't have enough of those with Hidden Dev. So we're not running on Houston. Well, maybe our new line can do it. Yeah, I get sniped every draft, but this one feels different. Best player in this draft was Chester Downing, a receiver who went to the Chicago Bears. Was he really 354? This is your top-rated player in the draft, Chester Downing. Fastest player, Matt Riddick. And then Henry Rush. And then Raekwon Stark. Good offseason. Check Farrow on the schedule. We'll have to check out that schedule. Farrow, do we know where he went? We got second strongest player. Yeah, we should probably check out Henry Rush. Normal. A little more to offer in the deep route running, or the short route running department, and a better juke. I know my camera's in the way. I'm going to have to scroll further and then come back left. Top juke is Randy Crowder, Chester Downing, Henry Rush. Yeah, this Matt Riddick has a lot of top scores. Miles Samuels. 5'10", 232. Grinder. Let's see. Best catching. Chester Downing, Chad Pizzo, Paul Paxton, Denario Nash. Was he nice? He was slow. Slow. I think I'm done clicking on players because it's causing me to waste all this time on scrolling. Brandon Hampton, Matt Meadows, Tim Mims. They traded up to get him. Best spec catch goes to Wiggins. We'll have to face him. Brandon Hampton, best short route running. We got the second best short route running from Dante Boss, but he's just a one-dimensional player. Best medium, Chester Downing. And best deep, Henry Rush. Stark is up there tied for second best. Release, Tremaine Barlow, Wiggins. There's Emmanuel Farrow. So here's the Heisman winner who did have hidden. Yeah, he's fine. You know who he reminds me of skill set wise? This is Traylon Burks. That's just Traylon Burks in a Broncos uniform. This did seem like a weaker class in terms of quarterbacks. But there are some okay options that'll come out of it, it seems. Josh Charles was the best pass protector. We got the second best pass protector in the second round by staying patient. And then Jeremy Austin. Best pass block power is Cordell Singh, and then Ladarius Huggins, and then Jeremy Austin. So we're going to improve against power. Finesse is Huggins, and then Singh. Like, Singh is one of the best tackles in the whole class, and we just waited for him. I'm pretty happy with this. Here's what we're looking at right now, everybody, post-draft. This is your offensive line with Elton Jenkins, Laken Tomlinson, Frank Ragnow, Nate Davis, and Taylor Moton. So 2 outside additions to start and 2 rookies providing depth with hidden development. We end up bringing in the veteran Sterling Shepard, who has a mentor tag. We do not have to give up Derrick Henry. And we end up bringing in a couple rookie receivers as well. Now, to get the offensive line here, we had to give up Jeffrey Simmons, but did trade for John Franklin Myers to help replace him, and then drafted Eric Brennan. In the secondary, we added, this is easy to forget about because it was a while ago. We added Jamel Dean to play slot, and we added Dax Hill to play safety. Secondary's looking nasty. Front four can still get after the quarterback. And we'll develop a bit here at linebacker as they stole Diablo's development. Great class. Sophomore season about to go crazy. I'm hoping so, Brian. I'm hoping so. Big hopes for this season. Did we do enough? Do we make the right moves? Or was Travis Proctor the missing piece? No excuses this year, I think. And, you know, if preseason doesn't show improvement here for the interior, Derrick Henry may be on his way out to help us solidify this offensive line. I don't know if we have to add another guard. I'm hopeful that we don't. But we'll see. 2 big upgrades, though. Ragnow and Moton. And 2 more developing. And yeah, you got Wembley here who can also play, but availability is always a question with him. But with his strength where it is, I think you can easily trust him to play guard. But can you trust him to stay healthy at guard? Yeah, I'll give Diablo his star back. He just got it. He earned it. I wish that once you got a depth trait, you couldn't lose it for at least a year. All right. I can't wait to see what Brian Nava can do this year. But that's going to do it for me, everybody. This stream ran way longer than I expected because we spent so much time talking trades. But thank you. This was a lot of fun. So I will be looking to do some streaming of the preseason, hopefully again this week. And I'll have an edited off-season video coming your way soon. I'll probably have some UDFA signings in there and finishing out this roster. But I hope you had a fun time. That was a great off-season, and we accomplished our #1 goal today. I think that has to be a success. That's going to do it for me, everybody. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, yeah, schedule? Okay. Schedule. And then I will be going. We open this year against the Bengals. Dolphins show up in week 2. Browns, early season showdown against the Colts. Then the Cowboys, the Commanders, who went to the Super Bowl last year. The Steelers, Texans, Jags, Philly. Colts in week 11. Ravens were really good last year. The Giants, the Bears. We close Jags, Chiefs against Chad Pizzo, and the Houston Texans in the finale. They swept us last year. There's your schedule. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.